tarry not for long. Or perhaps thou'rt captive already, like the poor girl.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Ghostly French Toast, and today we're doing some Dark Souls 3 videos. I haven't done a Dark Souls 3 video in a hot minute, so enough dawdling around, let's dive on in. This video is going to be on Iudex Gundyr, and that's basically the intro, so enough dawdling around, let's dive on in. What does it mean to be a champion of Ash? A champion of Ash is basically someone, an unkindled, who links the fire, or tries to link the fire. And that's what Iudex Gundyr's goal was. And we know in Italian, or Latin, Iudex means together, or judge, or test, or battle. And that kind of represents what Iudex Gundyr is when you first encounter him. He is a test for us sitting unkindled, to basically see if we have trial, see if we're able to beat him and basically progress to like the fire. And I have some personal theories, but we'll get into those after we cover the basics of Gundyr. After a King Osiris boss fight, behind an illusionary wall in the darkest crypts of Lothric, we find the untended graves, and we find a peculiar sight. We find the boss that we killed at the beginning of the game, as the boss for this area, Champion Gundyr. And this may be strange because we already killed this guy. But here's the thing: Untended Graves is a point in time before the game started, where Iudex Gundyr was at his prime, and where he was about to link the fire. And when he went to go try to link the fire, his firekeeper wasn't there. So he basically was waiting there. And it was based for years, millennia even, I don't know, centuries probably. And but we know time is convoluted in the Dark Souls series, so I don't know. And we know that he's basically a test of strength if we read his armor description. Also, his armor description has a little hint to one of a Dark Souls, Demon Souls actually, boss, Old King Daran, and his helmet design. And his helmet design is actually very something to take note of. Because if we look at all other royalties in Lothric, Lorien, for example, Lothric, all of them, their garb is basically kind of like a crown, to say. Because if we look at Lorien's helm looks like a crown, but it functions as a helmet. And if we look at Gundyr's helm, we see that it also has like a crown looking thing on top of it. I mean, it has a face, and it's basically representing a royalty kind of deal. And that's something to take note of. Also, something important to take note of is the blue skirt cloth. This may be a little odd detail, but we know that Lorien, his armor set, also has a blue waistcloth, and Lothric also has a bluish black waistcloth. And we know dark bluish purple in real life, and dark bluish purple back in medieval ages, those were colors of royalty, because you couldn't get those colors anywhere. Those are rare colors to get. Nowadays you can get them anywhere, but back in the day, those belonged to royalty. And that would make sense. And I think you can see where I'm hinting at, that Gundyr is a part of the Lothric royalty. In the Hidden Blessing description, we see that the Queen of Lothric presumed to be Guinevere, because other item descriptions, and we know that Guinevere ran off once the light began to fade in Lordran. The Queen of Lothric, we know that she went to Untended Graves to basically give hidden blessings to those souls that are tormented. And that would make sense, because if we go off the theory that the Queen of Lothric is Guinevere, it would make sense that she would want to come and basically give a hidden blessing, something to relieve the pain of someone who is basically tormented, one of the royalty members. And something else I personally believe, this is just going off the rails, is that Gundyr was actually a part of the royal family itself. He wasn't just royalty, he was part of the royal family itself. Because we know that they really wanted, the king of Lothric, Osiris, really wanted to basically have a perfect child. And we know this might have basically gotten him to have as much children as he can. Because if we look at Lothric's kind of a, no offense Lothric, we love you and all, but you're kind of a failure, to be honest. You kind of not linked the fire, man. You're kind of a failure, no offense. And we know that Osiris might have wanted to have more children. And we know that unkindled are basically the last basically hurrah to get to link the fire. And that would make sense if Lothric's King of Lothric, Osiris, sent him on a quest to basically go link the fire. Something else I should take note of. This is me going even deeper into my digging a hole for myself and spiraling into madness. What if Gundyr, hear me out. What if Gundyr is actually Ocelot? It would make sense. Hear me out. If we look where Champion Gundyr is at the beginning of the game, he is right behind Osiris, right? And in the game we hear Ocelot crying, and that would make sense with Champion Gundyr's lore, because he was basically left there. He was basically all alone, and it would make sense. He had no one to tend to. He would be upset, and when you're upset, you most likely cry. You give up, and it would make sense because we don't see Ocelot when Osiris is holding him, but we do know in the original, basically prompt of the game, script, whatever you want to call it, Osiris actually had the baby, and he just slammed it on the ground when he activated his second phase. I know that sounds bad, but I wish they kept that in the game. That would have been cool. I know it sounds really bad, I know, but trust me, I think it would have been cool. But that kind of makes sense. Champ Gundyr is all alone, and it would make sense that Osiris would be right there, right at the bottom, right by Firelink Shrine, which is very important to linking the fire. He would send probably one of the strongest children he has to go link the fire. So yeah, hopefully you like my nonsense spiral into madness, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Go sleep, French toast. Bye.